Peace, people. Welcome to the latest episode of The Rough Draft. I am your host, Kevin Alberto Sabio. And in this very special episode of The Rough Draft, I will be celebrating the 1 year anniversary of The Rough Draft. So, thank you very much for tuning into this particular video. Um, August actually marks 1 full year that I've actually been doing The Rough Draft. The actual anniversary is actually August 23rd. That was when I first posted the first video of the rough draft, and that was in 2019. So the 23rd this year actually makes it 1 full year that I've been doing the rough draft. So it's been what 17 episodes long. So and we've been making an impact, hopefully. So in order for me to be able to celebrate this occasion of having done this series for at least a year, I decided to do an Ask the Author segment. So what I did was I contacted a number of the people on my author mailing list. I asked them about a month ago to help me celebrate this by sending me questions that they wanted to ask me as far as me as an author, my writing career, anything about my books. Not that very many people actually sent me questions, but a few people did. So in order to do that, I'm going to celebrate it. So let's the festivities begin. So as far as the feedback questions, this one was asked specifically by an hermana I know named Tamika Burgess, as well as a few other people. But I thought her question was very deep and informative, and so it goes a little something like this. Yes, I wear glasses to read. Um, with all of my books of success, what motivates you to keep going? What makes you sit and write? What makes you stay in and write while others are out? Where does your dedication come from? Um, First of all, Tamika, thank you very much, Hermana, for sending me this question. Thank you for participating. And a lot of it just has to do with really a lot of it is my parents, just the way that they raised me. They gave me a lot of work ethic. I'm very proud of that. Also, a lot of it is just it's just my purpose in life. Like I'm a storyteller. I love telling stories. And if I'm not able to do that, I can get very grouchy. I can be very attitudinal. I'll just be in a very bad mood. So if I'm not creating and writing, and then that's just like I'm not a very happy person. You know what I'm saying? And like I was saying before, a lot of it is just my parents gave me a very good work ethic. You see, that's how they raised me. So it's just like whatever it is that I plan on doing, just to do it and do it to the best of my abilities. And to just like if you're gonna do something, you say stick to it all the way from the beginning to the end. So definitely shout out to my parents, and then also just that's just my nature, you know. So again, Admana, thank you so much for sending me the question. Next set of questions is actually sent from a brother I know, a very dear comrade. His name is Afi Makalani, and he actually sent me several questions. The first question that he sent me is, what suggestions do you have for independent authors to press onward in the face of lukewarm sales? Honestly, brother, I'm trying to figure it out myself. I'm going through that myself, and really just having perseverance. I mean, it's like it may start off very slow. It won't. It might not go the way that you really intended to, but if it's really what you want to do and it's not some BS bucket list thing that you're doing, you say for your own ego's sake, then just you just gotta stick with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can attest to that personally. None of my books have like really sold off the shelves, you know, saying in the proverbial sense. But I'm a storyteller, so as long as it's out there, you know what I'm saying, that like I did my part. You see, I wrote the book, it's published, it's out in the universe. So yeah, I mean, my main goal isn't to like sell a million copies and make zillions of dollars. I mean, that would be nice. I would like to live comfortably, but not to say that I'm not doing it for profit, but I do want recognition of my work. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's I'm out there, the works are published, and it's just really about having a lot of perseverance. You know what I'm saying? I'm lucky. I was raised with that like that New York hustle mentality. You always gotta constantly be on your grind. So it's just like you're gonna eventually get somebody to support your work. You see, you're gonna find a following, and people are gonna be there for you. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of moxie, as some people say. You know what I'm saying? The brother's next question is, um, how do you come up with the ideas for the books, the book subject matter? Great question. Thank you for asking me that. As cheesy as it sounds, life. Because I could be on the bus going somewhere and I'll see something happen and that'll be inspiration. I could be reading a different book and that'll also be inspiration for something for me to write. Or I could do something as little as benign as like watching TV or movie and be like, oh wow, that's cool. Like I'd like to do something like that. Why don't we have something like that? Or I might be watching that same thing like, yo, that's whack. I could write something better than that. So a lot of it as far as like subject matter, it's life. You know, Chronicles of the Black Fist, I wanted us to have like an iconic black superhero. You know, with the Mirror Knights, that was actually kind of a pet project. It was a test. I wanted to see if I could write something different that wasn't really political. Because at that time, Demure Nights was my fifth book, so like my first, well, the three of my first four books were kind of political in nature. So I wanted to write something different and test myself and see if I could do something and be good at it. So I wrote an erotic novel, which ended up being Demure Nights. So and what else? Another example is Seductra, because I have to admit, at the time, this was like I think mid '90s or something, early to mid '90s. It's like I'm up late, I'm watching cable, and so one of the inspirations for both Demure Nights and Seductra was like I used to watch late night Cinemax, or as we call it, Skinemax. And so a lot of times I would watch that programming, and like I wouldn't see us in there, and I'm like, hey, we could be freaky, you know what I'm saying? We could be grown and sexy. Why don't we have these stories like that? I'm gonna write my own. So that's kind of the genesis of what ended up becoming like Demure Knights and Seductra. You know what I'm saying? So that was my inspiration. So another question that the brother asks is, when did you realize you could do this, be an author? Um, I originally started off as a screenwriter, and knowing that I can make a career out of it was actually I was inspired by one of my teachers when I was in high school. So I was about 16. So I mentioned this earlier in another video, I believe video one. Um, yeah, I was inspired by my teacher in junior year, I believe it was. And so she was the only one to really, I mean, I had other teachers who noticed that I had talent. Um, my business teacher, Miss Feynman, she was the only one who really thought that I could actually make a career out of this. Because I had written a project for a class. It was an advertisement. She thought it was very original, very funny, and she saw a lot of talent in there. She was like, if you decide to go to college, you should take up film and television because I really think you go far from there. So that was pretty much the genesis of that. As far as being an author, I just transferred what I was doing as a screenwriter and did it as an author. So that was about 2009. And that was really because of my activism and advocacy working with people who were in the literary arts. They're the ones who informed me actually about print on demand publishing. And I'm just like, oh, because I believe, again, I said in episode one that because of my background as a screenwriter, it was like the whole process of finding an agent, you and an agent, finding a production company to produce your film. And it's pretty much the same thing in the publishing industry of like you finding an agent, you and an agent finding a publisher so they can publish your novel or your nonfiction book, whatever it is, and putting it out to the public. When I learned about print on demand publishing, this was about 2009. I'm like, oh, word? About 2008, 2009. It's like, oh, so I could cut the middleman out and I could just put my work out there. You're saying, okay, cool. So that's pretty much when I decided to become an author around middle to the end of 2009. So his final question is, what has been your proudest moment as an author? Oh, that's easy. When I published my first book. So when Razor Brown Blackfish came out in 2010 in February, when I paid off my publishing package for Author House and my book just hit the market, I did. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even able to do that as a screenwriter. Like, none of my films were ever produced. I wrote my first book and it was published in 2010. So that I was just like, I did it. You know what I'm saying? I started my writing career. I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the marketplace. So I was just like, hey, all these years of trying, I wasn't able to do it in film and television. I'm able to do it in the literary world. So I was just like, and see, final question was actually asked by Franco Savio. Yes, we're related. He's my cousin. He asks, out of all of your novels, if you had a chance to choose which one, which would you choose to turn into a screenplay movie and why? Um, well, okay. Most of my novels, at least, started off as screenplays, so they're all pretty much already available for to be made into films. But as far as which one would I choose out of all of them to be a film, that's hard. Thank you for asking that question, though. That's great. Um, you know what? Honestly, I'd have to say the Chronicles of the Black Fist if I had to choose just one. Um, like just the visuals just alone would be crazy. Just the choice of should it be live action or if it should be animated. That's another thing. 'Cause, like, even especially if it's animated, the crazy stuff that you could do with like just setting up the scenes and like the different shots and angles and all the different stuff you could do. Whether you say you make it like 3D animation or 2D animation or something like that. That's just like the possibilities are endless. So yeah, if like just the voice actors and just the action, the fight sequences, yeah, I would have to do that. Honorable mentions would definitely be Suicide Amy and Seductra. Um, Suicide Amy because that was actually my very first script that I wrote, even though I published it as a novel earlier this year in March. Seductra, I liked it as a story. You say being very much character driven, and it was just kind of like one of the influences Skinamax, but also the influence of the movie Players Club. So I kind of wanted to write something a little bit more grown and sexy. So, but thank you very much for all of you who participated. Thank you for those of you who answered me back and you sent through my email and was able to send me these questions. I truly appreciated it. And thank you for paying attention to this episode of the Rough Draft. I truly appreciate it. Uh, hopefully be able to do this again next year, celebrate my second year of doing this web series. So thank you very much for supporting my career. For those of you who are interested, obviously my books are available in paperback format, so you know where you can go to get them. Amazon.com, Barnes and Nobles, Books a Million. If you want copies of my books in ebook format, they're available in ebook format. The channels: Kindle, Nook, Kobo, iTunes, Scribd, Playster, 24 Symbols. They're also available for libraries in the ebook format through Overdrive, Baker and Taylor, Hoopla, Biblioteca. Um, Thank you again. If you're watching this on YouTube, like the video, please leave a comment, give me some feedback. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know that you appreciate my work. Share it. Let your people know about it. And thank you very much. Thank you for celebrating the 1 year anniversary of the Rough Draft with me. And I'll see you soon. Keep the fist raised. Always on my literary grind. Seeing you in the next episode. And see you in the future. Peace.